Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to get started. Today's webinar is called Smart for Business. It's part of a six-part series that we usually do in real life. This is the first one in a virtual context, and we welcome you. Today's topic is pivots and partnerships during a pandemic. We have a really dynamic panel for you today. I'm a huge fan of everyone on this call, and I hope you benefit from our conversation today. A few housekeeping things. As noted when you joined, audio and video are muted for our attendees today. We are going to leave time for a question and answer session, so please use the Q&A function that's at the bottom of your toolbar. It looks like two talking bubbles. We'll do the best we can to answer those questions as we go along. For some reason you're struggling with audio, please use the up arrow next to the mute button for audio help. If you are having any trouble, you can go ahead and communicate with the host using the chat feature, which you also see at the bottom. So let's get started. Today we have joining us for this webinar, Evan Salee, who's the CEO and co-founder of Ferris Brewing Cooperative, right on Central Avenue, Northeast Minneapolis. Mari Cedar-James, who's the president of Chow Girls Killer Catering, with a location in the Mid-City Industrial Neighborhood in Northeast Minneapolis, as well as their Solar Arts event facility, which is again in the heart of Northeast. And we have Nate Krantz, who's the general manager of First Ave and 7th Street Entry. And I don't think I need to tell anyone where that is. Please note today that we are going to be active on our social media channels. You can see our handle there, MPLS Chamber, and we're using the hashtag Small Biz. So we're going to get off to a start here. Let's bring our panelists on live and let's get to the question and answer segment of today. Here we are. We have a couple of people who are going to have drop off screen, and we will go live. Hi, Mari. Hi, Nate. And hi, Evan. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got it. Well, as I mentioned, I know 2 out of 3 of these folks really well, so we're planning on having a really organic, casual conversation. I set it up like, let's hang out like we're going to be in, like we're in Evan's tap room at Fair State enjoying a Roselle. It is a little late for, or a little early for all of those things, and I don't know if we could do it inside at this given moment, but that's how we're going to approach today. We hope that everyone who's in attendance comes away with some good messages and some insight into how these 3 companies have handle the pandemic and COVID-19 and everything that has been completely unpredictable and about that. So we're going to get started. I'm going to ask each of our speakers to introduce themselves because they know their thing. Going to learn a little bit more about their locations, which I named, but also kind of their services, employees, and I asked them to also mention something incredibly cool about what they do. So I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to start with Nate. We're going to go to Mari and then to Evan. So thanks everybody. Let's get started.
Hello, I'm Nate Krantz. I'm the general manager of First Avenue and 7th Street Entry, downtown Minneapolis, as well as our associated businesses such as the Fine Line, Depot Tavern, Turf Club, Palace Theater, etc., etc. As I'm sure most people know, we're in the concert business, so we like to pack as many sweaty bodies as humanly possible into a tight-fitting space to have somebody sing loudly right into their face. So this has been a really challenging time for us. Yeah, and I guess if you want to know what I do beyond the ins and outs of managing the business and all the normal things that come with that, is I also promote concerts and I'm in charge of booking as well, which is a lot more fun than HR and laying hundreds of people off and all of that not so fun stuff we've been going through now.
That was your colleague Mike's job, right?
Yeah.
And now I heard a tidbit of information that you started as a ticket runner.
I did. I started, I used to work at record stores like in high school, things like that. And so I had experience selling First Ave tickets from one side of the counter. And when the delivery guy was moving to Portland, he really just asked if I wanted his job. And so I showed up 22 years ago and started running tickets and very quickly pivoted into booking concerts, and then shortly thereafter pivoted and added management to my role as well.
Longest standing employee, right?
No, not even close. You keep people around a long time. We have gentleman Roy who started in 1978. So
Oh my gosh. Well, that says something about the organization, right?
yeah, I think I'm like 13th or 14th most tenured at this point. So
Well, impressive either way. All right, Miss Mari, why don't you take it away?
Thanks, Christine. I'm Mari Cedar James. I'm the president of Chowgirls Catering. I have been with Chowgirls for 14 years. So Nate has a leg up on me in terms of longevity in one place. But I came to Chowgirls from culinary school to be their chef. So over the last 14 years, we've grown from a company of 3 with some contract servers who were using serving to help them bolster their art careers, to a company of over 120, 130 employees at the most during our busiest season of the year, which is typically right now. So Christine mentioned we have our headquarters located in the Mid-City industrial neighborhood. We've been there for 3 years. And we do all of our catering, cooking, and equipment storage and officing out of that space. We also operate the 3rd floor of the Solar Arts building, which is Chowgirls at Solar Arts, which you'll know best probably by the location of Indie Brewing on the 1st floor. At this time, again, like Nate said, we specialize in gathering people together. Big groups of people talking, moving around unpredictably. So at this time, we're not catering any events with staff. We are doing some extensive delivery options, and we are not hosting any events indoors at Solar Arts. Instead, we have added a greenhouse outside at Solar Arts because we don't need the parking spaces, which is a cool development for Northeast, and we can find more information on that. I'll be able to send you to with some links Anna will have for you.
That's awesome. And then Mari, also woman-owned, and would we consider you one of the boss ladies?
I am a boss lady, but I'm not an owner. And Chowgirls is woman-owned by Heidi Andermack and Amy Brown.
Awesome. All right, Evan, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Evan Salee. I'm the CEO and one of the 3 co-founders at Fair State Brewing Cooperative. I think easily the baby of this bunch. We've not even yet been around for 6 years, although that'll be coming up here in September. That'll be the 6th anniversary of our opening. Prior to Fair State, I was an attorney, so I kind of bring that expertise into what we do. Although I graduated kind of at the tail end of the last recession that we were a part of, and that's kind of how I got into the craft beer industry at the time. It was a pretty nascent thing, and but a thing that had been really near and dear to my heart. You know, I've been a home brewer since well before I could legally drink. You know, so that's been something that has been a great passion of mine for a long time. And so, you know, essentially myself and 2 friends were drinking beer at what was at the time the first cooperatively owned brewery in the entire country. I guess it still is the first, but at the time it was the only one. And that was kind of a light bulb moment for us. You know, Minnesota has such an amazing co-op scene. There's a lot of people into the idea of co-ops, and it seemed to us kind of crazy that Minnesota, where they really love beer and they really love co-ops, didn't have a co-op brewery. So that was kind of the idea that sparked, you know, at that point, the next nearly 10 years of my life. So, you know, we rapidly kind of put together a business model, started gathering members, and eventually launched then in 2014. Ever since then, we've been, I think, growing really rapidly from our, you know, small tap room there on Central and Lowry, where, you know, that used to be the only place that you could get our beer, or pretty close to it. And now you can find our cans all over the state, all over the country. You know, you can get it as far as, you know, New York, Rhode Island even. You can even also get it down in Texas recently. And crazy enough, you can actually get our beer in Japan. So last year, I was pretty fortunate to actually be able to go visit Japan and drink some of my own beer there, which was a completely